Konuşalım.
Good evening, nurse.
Good evening, Doctor. I don't think we've been introduced yet. My name is Pippa Hawkins.
And I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed. Dr. Swansea has recently offered me a position in this hospital.
Well, it's a euphemism that your help will be appreciated, Doctor.
How would you describe the situation at the Pembroke Hospital?
It's serious. The flu is wreaking havoc amongst the staff and patients. We are running out of everything.
Tıp bir yerinden İspanyol gribi sonsuza dek sürmeyecek.
Nurse Hawkins, the Spanish flu won't last forever. Even the Black Plague
Kara veba
killed
bile.
everyone.
I wish I could believe you. But what if this epidemic was worse? What if in the end, nobody was spared?
You must get a hold of yourself, nurse.
Çak bir tane suratına kendine gelsin.
Exhausted. No one has any idea when this epidemic will be over.
Aa,
How long have you been a nurse?
Well, long enough to see that the epidemic is winning. And no matter how qualified you are, don't tell me you'll change that.
haklısın.
You're right. When dealing with such a terrible disease, one must remain
Her
humble.
zaman haklısın demek
But that
lazım
doesn't mean
kadınlarla
we
konuşurken.
shouldn't try our best.
Sorry, Doctor. I don't want to sound bitter, but I'm just too tired to give a pep talk like Nurse Brannigan.
How is the Pembroke staff coping with the epidemic?
Well, not well. Milton, the ambulance driver, is even more grumpy than usual, especially concerning doctors.
Why is Milton grumpy on a daily basis? Is it just an act?
Milton's not the kind of man who's bothered about a bad reputation, whether he deserved it or not.
Kötü
Why
şöhreti.
does
Neden
Milton
kötü
dislike
şöhreti var?
doctors?
I don't know. Just ask him. But be warned, Milton is not the chatty type.
İpucu lazımmış. Allah Allah. Kişisel sorunlar. Hepsine ipucu gerekli. Demek ki bu ablayla çok haşır. Biraz da neşir olacağız. Hasta. Senle konuşabiliyor muyuz? Aman herkesle konuşabiliyoruz. Eyvah eyvah.
I'm
Ben
Dr.
konuşurum
Reed,
valla.
the new surgeon at the Pembroke Hospital.
Hapı yedik.
And who are you?
Your name has no meaning to me, mortal.
Ölümlü mü?
You're nothing but dust blown.
Senden
by the
senin
winds
kadar
of
ölümlü
time.
değiliz
I
biz.
beg your
Vampiriz.
pardon.
What are you begging for, mortal? My clemency? Well,
Niye bize öyle diyor
tonight
ya?
maybe I'm inclined to mercy. You'll never forget the night you met Thelma Howcroft.
You
Thelma
keep
Howcroft.
calling me mortal.
Lovecraft
Why is
değil.
that? And if I'm mortal, what are you?
Well, Dr. Reed, if you must know, I'm a vampire.
Kişisel sorulara geçelim direkt o zaman.
Who are you really?
Buna da bir sürü ipucu. Eyvah eyvah.
I mean, apart from being a vampire.
Is that not enough for you, puny mortal? What do you require?
Çelimsiz mi?
Proof of my powers?
I'm curious to know who you were before becoming a vampire.
No, it was such a long time
Bir
ago.
kıtlama alırsın o zaman deyip uzatmak
Centuries
lazım
of
kolumuzu.
unholy life can have strange
Madem
effects on
vampirsin.
one's minds, you see?
Vampir vampire.
And why do you believe you're a vampire?
Dişisine
I don't
vampire
need to believe
denmesi
anything.
lazım.
It is what I am. It is what I feel within this hollow shell of flesh.
I see. Have you ever heard of Cotard syndrome, Miss Howcroft?
Never.
It's a mental illness discovered by a French neurologist named Jules Cotard. The affected patients are delusional. They believe that they are putrefying, that they are dead, a ghost or a ghoul, or in your case, a vampire.
Delusional,
Direkt
you
teşhis
say?
koyduk ya.
Oh, sad and petty mortal. You can't even begin to understand the concept of immortality. And you think it is I who am delusional.
Yok ya.
Please, describe
Vampirsin,
to me how
tamam.
you feel. What is it like to be a vampire?
I can hear my body crumble from the inside as my flesh cracks and fades. I sense the last pulse of postulant blood within my drying veins. I need new blood.
İşte ısır, kıtlama, uzat kolunu.
I'm assuming you must be a patient here.
Bu soru çok saçma. Belli zaten burada yatan hastalardan biri olduğu ama
Hide from my enemies.
kamuflaj
I
diyor.
can leave whenever I want. As a woman, a spirit, fog, or bat.
Who are these enemies you mentioned? Can you describe them?
I cannot say for sure. But I sense their eyes on me from nearby. I feel them watching me every time I visit the garden near the morgue.
The staff here are not your enemy. They're here to help you, to care for you.
I'm not speaking of the doctors in white. I'm speaking of the men and women who hunt me. For I am a vampire.
I see. Don't worry. These people will not find you here. I'll personally make sure they leave you alone.
Thank you, mortal. But do not interfere with them. For you are no match for those that hunt me.
Yeni soruşturma. Yanlış hedef mi? Kişisel sorunlarda ipucu gerekli. Okey.
I'll leave you, Mistress of the Dark, to your nocturnal activities.
İlacı götür. Ya ilacın sahibini bana göstersen ben ilacı götüreceğim de. Göstermiyor. Öbür taraftayken gösteriyordu ya. Bu neymiş? Merhamet adına insanların size ihtiyacı var. Acil hemşire aranıyor. Şununla da konuşalım. Belli ki buradaki herkesle konuşabileceğiz ve bazılarının bize faydası da olacak. Yukarıda bu hastanede yukarıda mı? Yoksa az önce çıktığım o binada, çünkü oradayken gösteriyor. Oranın üst katındaysa tekrar girerim oraya. Thomas Elwood. Ha, bu kilitliymiş, açılmış, mavi.
Where were you stationed, sir? Did you serve for long?
I really don't want to talk about all this shit.
No offense. I was pushing too much. I served in France myself. I just wanted to know what happened to you.
You were an officer, weren't you? Then I doubt we fought the same war, sir. No offense.
How close are you to Miss Horcroft? Are you aware that she thinks she is a vampire?
To wait for her next nibble is the best reason to stay here. Every time she approaches my bed, she treats me like something tasty. A normal person.
Bu abiyi mi kıtlıyormuş?
She may hurt you if the game goes too far.
She's quite harmless, I can assure you. Her head's broken inside is all. While I'm busted on the outside. But she's still beautiful. Living proof that there's hope for me.
Seni ısırmasına izin mi verdin?
You know that's not sanitary.
And why not? She's only supping a few drops of my blood. And the pain, it's real for once.
She could decide to bite less willing patients.
Then it's another good reason for me to stay here, Doctor.
Allah Allah. Kendini ısırtıyor.
You do realize she's mentally disturbed. It's called the Cotard syndrome. She truly believes she's a vampire.
In her madness, she never refers to my scars. And frankly, if I could, I'd join her world. It seems much more fun than the real one.
Yatmadan önce bir shot alırım diyor yani. Kişisel sorular, Londra'daki hayatın. O da açılmış, onu da konuşuyoruz.
Oh, it's bliss. I just escaped death in the trenches to be surrounded again by the moans of the dying.
Can I ask you precisely why you're a patient here?
It's the pain, sir. The drugs don't work. It just hurts under the scars.
Buradaki insanların çoğunun problemi psikolojik.
Can I do anything for your pain?
Nurses gave me a bunch of pills. No effect. Told you. It's like the flames are under my skin, burning away.
Belki de bu vampir.
Who is treating you? Is someone in particular looking after your case?
Nobody since the old and tired doctor spoke to me. Started to think I was forgotten about. Wouldn't blame you.
You don't seem worried by that.
My face hurts so much more when I smile or cry. I've learned it's easier not to speak. But be assured I'm smiling inside.
Why do you feel responsible for the injury, Thomas? What really happened?
I wasn't disfigured by any German shells. It happened during my leave. It was an accident.
Tell me what really happened then.
I went with a whore in Rouen. Dead drunk I was. The hotel was a shithole. There was a fire that night.
Did you start the fire? Were you trying to avoid going back to the front? That's not uncommon, you know.
No. It's just that I was asleep when the flames reached the room. The girl was long gone. Bitch never woke me up. Left me to burn.
Neden yalan söylüyorsun?
Why lie about it?
Come on. It's one thing to come back disfigured by the Germans, and it's another to get injured in an accident that could have happened to anybody.
Reconstructive surgery has been very successful for some soldiers.
I don't want to wear a bloody mask for the rest of my life. I'd rather
Maske
stay
değil
here
yahu.
and just be forgotten.
Aa. İpucu başarısız dedi ya. Ve gitti o şey.
Why do you feel?
I wasn't.
Why lie?
Come on. I
Reconstruct.
don't want to.
Aa, seçenek gitti. Hayda. Cezbetme. Ya.
Where were you stick?
I really
No, if
you were not.
how close
What?
aren't you?
She.
Goodbye for now, Mr. Elwood.
Disgust on every.
Böyle mi oluyormuş? Bu iyi değil ama ya. Yani konuştuk, şey, seçenek gitti. Bir daha da gelmeyecek. Bu niye yüklendi ya uzun uzun? Hala da yükleniyor.
Good evening, Mr. Hampton. How do you
Çok
feel?
konuşacağız herhalde, eyvah eyvah.
Oh,
Bu oyunda bayağı bir
bir
konuşma bölümleri olacak.
Fear and exhaustion made me say awful things to you, I'm afraid.
You remained perfectly nice and polite. A little delirious, perhaps. But who wouldn't be after enduring an abduction?
Thank you, Doctor. That's a relief. Now all I need to do is rest and return to my flock.
Peder Sean Hampton.
What do you do
Ne iş
for a
yaptığı
living,
belli
Mr.
değil mi?
Hampton? I can't help but notice the cross around your neck.
I manage a night asylum for the poor and homeless of the docks. And I try to
Ah,
guide the lost and
peder
erring
değilmiş.
on the right path to our Lord.
Are you a priest, Mr. Hampton? A deacon, maybe?
Not at all, Doctor. I'm just a man of faith willing to preach the good word.
Why
Haçı
didn't you use your
vampirlere
cross
karşı
against William
belki de
Bishop
kullanmak için
to repel him
takıyor.
somehow?
That's a very strange question, Doctor. A cross is no magical token, if that's what you were trying to say. Not mine, anyway.
Have you made friends since you arrived?
Not really, but I recognize Miss Harriet Jones. I knew her when she lived by the docks. That poor woman had such a miserable life.
You never came to see her here at Pembroke? Receiving visits when sick can be an important part of the healing process, you know. We're not just bodies.
You're preaching to the converted now, Doctor. To be truly honest, I thought she was dead. She left the docks many months ago.
How do you feel, Mr. Hampton? Medically speaking, I mean.
I feel exhausted. Beyond exhaustion, actually. William drank so much of my blood in his madness. I feel empty.
You're in good hands here. Dr. Swansea is well versed in blood transfusion, and I'm sure he'll take the best care of you.
Thank you, sir. I believe all I need is rest. And then I can go back to the people who need me.
Okey.
How did you end up in William Bishop's den?
I had received alarming news about his recent behavior. I went to his place and he refused to let me go.
Why did he abduct you?
William was an alcoholic. His addiction suddenly changed to blood. I don't know why. Just like a patient I met here. This Miss Hawcroft.
You dared to enter this awful place alone. You're a hero, Mr. Hampton. Or a fool.
I'm just a man trying to help his friends, Dr. Reed. William Bishop was a conflicted soul, searching for light.
What is the general situation in the East End docks?
The situation has always been tough, with a lot of tensions between the gangs and the dockers' trade union. The wet boot boys are very nervous since they lost their leader.
Islak pabuçlu oğlanlar mı? Çetenin ismi
Who leads
neymiş?
the gang now?
Since Clay Cox went missing, it's his wife Edwina who runs the show, with the assistance of her minion, Booth Digby.
Çok fazla isim geçiyor ya. Ben bu isimleri hiç aklımda
Has the
tutamam.
gang been threatening you?
Ah, no. I've had this nickname for so long, you know, the sad saint of the East End. No one dares to bug a saint, not even criminals.
Do you know Tom Watts, the bartender from the Turtle? I met him before I found you in the canning factory.
Tom? Yes, of course. Always the helping hand, good old Tom. Without men like him, corruption and despair would have wiped out the East End long ago.
People are still in despair.
How could it be otherwise? The authorities have left us all to rot in this contagious nightmare. No drugs, no advice, nothing. It's a damn shame.
Who should I avoid in this part of town?
Bir yerde umutsuzluk, bir yerde çaresizlik diye çevirmişler.
Evil figures.
Aynı kelimeyi. Ve ya farklı kişiler çeviriyor. O yüzden böyle oluyor. Şeyde de öyleydi ya, az önceki iksirlerden birinin ismi. Şeyde başka. İksir menüde başka. Ya da çevirirken çevirmenler o cümlenin oyunun neresinde ne şekilde geçeceğini bilemedikleri için farklı zamanlarda farklı şekilde çeviriyorlar. Onların da işi zor aslında.
Goodbye, Mr. Hampton. We'll talk again later.
Talk again later. Tekrar görüşürüz amcacığım. Oraya giremiyoruz. Vampir abla sen miydin?
Good evening, Miss Howcroft. How are you tonight?
Ben daha az önce konuştum. Bu gece nasılsın?
Rich, vibrant blood.
Tam beni kıtla.
Tell me, Thelma, why do you feel so attached to Mr. Elwood? Why him?
I'm not sure, Doctor. I think we have a bond of some sort. We've both suffered so much. He's the only mortal I find interesting.
Do you plan to make him a vampire too?
Of course not. How could I inflict my curse on anybody else? I'm not that cruel, Doctor.
Witcher'da seçenek olanları, hani birini ya da diğerini seçtiğinde öbürünü bir daha tekrar seçemeyeceğini, hani oradan itibaren başka yere gideceğini diyaloğun belirtmek için farklı renkte yapıyorlardı. Bunda öyle de yapmamışlar. Normalde sırayla bunu seçiyorsun, öbürünü seçiyorsun ama az önce abi de yanlış bir şeyi seçtim herhalde ki gitti şey.
Mr. Elwood are romantically involved?
No. No, Thomas is a delicate soul.
Başarısız olduk yani.
But I am not the woman he needs. No, for I am a vampire, Doctor.
Bu kadarmış. Kişisel sorularla devam edeceğiz ama. Yani ipucu topladıkça bunların diğer seçenekleri de açılacak. Ama ben tabi unutacağım. Bununla konuşmuştuk. Bu abla az önce ayakta biriyle konuşuyordu. Kimle konuşuyordu ya? Bu yatalak. Bu da yatalak. Ayaktaki hastalarla konuşabiliyoruz. Yatanlarla konuşamıyoruz demek ki. Senle konuşabiliyor muyuz?
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reed. I believe we're going to be colleagues.
Reed? Yes, I've been informed about your arrival. I'm Waverly Ackroyd.
Ackroyd.
Welcome aboard, I suppose.
Does my arrival inconvenience you in some way, Dr. Ackroyd?
Let us just say that I don't particularly share Dr. Swansea's enthusiasm for hiring you. What we need here are reliable professionals, not overrated dabblers.
If you have a problem with me, Dr. Ackroyd, please feel free to tell me.
Dr. Swansea has imposed your presence on this hospital.
I know we've never met before, but I believe that...
Oh, but I have heard about you, Dr. Reed. Of course you
Hızlı
can't
geçeyim
say
diyorum
so
ama
about
olmuyor.
me,
Yarım kalıyor cümleler.
since I have not wasted my time courting the press.
Hızlı geçmemek lazımmış. Husumete gerek yok.
There is no
Aa,
need for
alttaki
such animosity
seçeneği
between
okuyamadım,
us.
göremedim.
Don't you think the epidemic is already enough to deal with?
That is one point we could agree on. And that is precisely why I want to be sure that you will be of help to this hospital instead of a burden.
Diğer
If you have a
seçenekler
doctor, I
gitti.
know there is no need.
That is...
Evet.
Since your
O
tenure
üçünden de
at
bir
this
tanesini
hospital,
seçmem gerekiyormuş.
perhaps you can
Doğru
tell me
olanı
more
seçtik
about
herhalde
this
ki.
place.
Let's just say I'm tired of the carelessness around me. I have always respected the skills of Dr. Swansea, but over time his enthusiasm has become displaced.
Carelessness. Exactly what are you talking about?
We're here to save lives. The people who trust us are not volunteering for experimentation, they're here to be healed.
I don't intend to run any radical experiments, Doctor. Even if I, as any good practitioner should, express an interest in pushing the boundaries of medical research.
Modern medical methods were created through audacity and ego. But there are rules in our line of work, and they're here to protect our patients.
It seems you have bad memories of your military service.
I refuse to see this industrial slaughter as scientific progress. War only reveals the worst in men.
We can at least agree on something, Dr. Ackroyd. I don't know what you've heard about me, but I have already proved my value as a practitioner.
I don't question your skills, Dr. Reed, but your motive. Is it money, fame, or are you truly dedicated?
And what exactly is that supposed to mean?
I served in the war just like you. But unlike you, I did not use the wounded to play the modern sorcerer.
Be careful what you insinuate, Dr. Ackroyd.
I only want you to admit you used those men to improve your theories.
This is ridiculous.
Aha,
My
alttaki
blood
seçeneğe gene
transfusion
bakmadım ya.
technique
Alttaki
saved
seçeneği
many
unutuyorum ben
lives,
çoğu zaman.
and you know it.
You see? That is exactly what I hate about people like you. You avoid this kind of accusation instead of facing reality.
Ah be. Olmadı galiba. Yine yanlış. Yanlış seçenek mi seçtim? Hey Allah'ım. Cık. Tamam. Görüşürüz.
Thank you
Ya da
for your
belki
time.
görüşmeyiz. Bilemiyorum.
We'll talk later.
Oo. Tamam, onunla konuşacağız. Şuna da bir konuşalım.
Good evening, Doctor. I believe we're going to be working together.
Dr. Reed. Dr.
Strickland.
Swansea informed us of your arrival, but I could not dare to believe we'd have such good fortune. Such an honor, sir.
Thank you. And you are?
I am Thoreau Strickland, Dr. Thoreau Strickland. I'm a great admirer of your work, Dr. Reed.
Please, could you tell me something about yourself?
I'm a great admirer of your work concerning blood transfusion, Dr. Reed. I run my own experiments. I'm convinced it's the future.
Kan nakli.
I based my technique on my mentor's research. He helped me perfect my method. What is yours?
I'd rather not talk about it. For now, it's just theories and first approach. My process is purely experimental and unsuccessful.
As long as you're cautious and methodical, you may remain empty-handed, but you won't fail.
You're not the first one to warn me, but I am convinced knowledge is the main weapon against the ravages of this epidemic.
What made you choose to be a doctor?
I'm not ashamed to admit you and your work have inspired me. I am honored to have the opportunity to work by your side.
Vay.
It's always a pleasure to share scientific and medical knowledge with someone eager to learn. I'll be glad to help you if I can.
This epidemic may be the century's most terrible disaster, but I'm convinced that we, as doctors, are the only ones able to defeat it.
What can you tell me about the Pembroke?
Well, it has always been an honor to work with Dr. Swansea. But with your arrival, I can't think of a better opportunity to learn about blood transfusion.
Do you need help with anything in particular?
Well, yes, maybe. I'm waiting for a batch of products I ordered for my personal research.
Yan görev mi çıkacak bundan?
Do you want me to play the errand boy for you?
Oh no, Dr. Reed.
O da benim gibi endişelendi. Ayak işi mi yaptıracaksın bana diye.
What with your reputation and all, he wouldn't dare to refuse the products I need.
I see. Well, give me the address.
Evet,
for I may
yaptıracak.
pass by if I have time.
Bir an şey zannettim.
You seem quite optimistic.
Oyunlardaki
It's a rare
ana karakteri, bizim yönettiğimiz karaktere ayak işleri yaptıran
I'm convinced that this
diğer
epidemic
oyunlara
is a
gönderme
test,
yapıp
a test of
öyle bir şey
endurance and
yapmayacak,
dedication
teşebbüs
for us
etmeyecek
men of
sandım.
science.
Questions
Hayal
remain
kırıklığına
about
uğradım.
our capacity
Yapacak,
to
ayak işi yaptıracak yani.
True.
Ayak işi değil canım, olur mu öyle şey
Last
demeye
summer,
getirdi ama
during
yok,
the
ayak
first
işi.
wave of the epidemic, I used to joke with Milton about the extra work. We're not smiling now.
Tamam, şimdi şuraya bir geçelim.
What do you think of Dr. Ackroyd's aversion to modern medical methods?
It's a shame he's so narrow-minded. Dr. Swansea taught me that science is about exploring uncharted territory. I'm convinced that's true.
With the influenza and all that's going on, you should put your differences aside, don't you think?
Bunların arasını mı yapacağız? Ne yapacağız? Bunların arası mı
Work
bozuk mu
together.
ki?
I believe that if Dr. Ackroyd had been the one to discover the transfusion process, he would be the first to recommend its use.
So you believe it's just a question of jealousy and pride?
Dr. Ackroyd is as proud as he is blinded by his obsolete concept of medical science.
Bunların arası zor yapılır. Kişisel sorunlarda ne var ki? Ha,
Tell me more about your willingness to experiment with new medical techniques.
Harvey Fiddick is a patient suffering from a severe injury that could cripple him if not treated correctly. I'm convinced your blood transfusion technique could help him.
What is it you really want? To save him, or to prove your point?
Fair question. I want nothing but to save my patient, Dr. Reed. Especially since I know Mr. Fiddick's story.
Tell me Mr. Fiddick's story.
Our first diagnosis was compromised because Mr. Fiddick lied to us about the real origin of his injury. He first claimed it was an accident.
But why would he hide such crucial information from us?
Because he is a proud father, ashamed of putting his children at risk because of his own negligence.
This personal involvement could also appear to be a lack of impartiality. You must know that a good surgeon must remain neutral.
I agree. But that does not excuse Dr. Ackroyd's behavior, a man who did not even take time to converse with his patient.
Do you think keeping his distance was a mistake?
All I know is that I'm taking care of human beings with desires, hopes, and fears. Not some biological machine comprised of blood, bones, and flesh.
okey. Okey.
Goodbye, Dr. Strickland.
Hay Allah. Neredeydi o az önceki hasta?
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reed. May I help you?
I don't know if a third opinion is needed. Your
Başka birine denk
colleagues are
geldi.
already arguing about my condition.
I see. Would you mind telling me more about your situation?
I'm Harvey Fiddick. All I want is to get me bloody arm fixed properly.
Diğer
Tell me
seçenekler
about
yok.
your injury, Harvey. Why do you feel so guilty about it?
My wife died because of me. And now I may lose everything because I've been careless enough to hurt myself. What an arsehole.
İnleme sesleri geliyor arkadan. Yine ipucu mevcut.
How could your job be responsible for your wife's death?
I was working a double. She went out to bring me a hot meal and got caught in a German bomb raid.
You can't hold yourself responsible for your injury, Mr. Fiddick. Unless you tried to hurt yourself.
Of course I didn't hurt myself. But I can't work until my arm is fixed. My children need to eat, Doctor.
Tell me more about the death of your wife, Harvey.
1915. I was in the army. Building workshops for the Royal Flying Corps.
Bu bölüm bayağı diyalogla geçiyor. Yani ben de sizin gibi okuyorum. Başka bir şey yapmıyorum. Aksiyonsuz bir bölüm olduğu için biraz sıkıcı gelebilir size ama bu oyunda böyle bir oyun. Mass Effect'lerde falan da bazen yani bütün bir bölüm sadece konuşuyordu. Veya Skyrim'de falan. Hatta Witcher'da bile yani bütün bir bölüm sadece oradan oraya gidip insanlarla konuştuğumuz bölümler oluyordu. O yüzden tüm oyunlarda normal yani. Bu da bayağı RPG sayılır. Hatta RPG yani ciddi rol yapma oyunu. Bir vampiriz. Acaba şeyde böyle mi olacak? Masquerade Bloodlines 2. Önümüzdeki sene çıkacak olan. İnşallah onu da alabilirim ya. İyi oyun. Evet, onunla bununla konuş. Tıkla, dinle. Bir de bu konuşulanları ben bir sonraki yayında haftaya unutmuş olacağım. Unutuyorum çünkü. Kim ne demişti? Ve bu tip oyunlarda da işte unutmamak lazım ki. Özellikle öyle içinde dedektiflik, araştırma, soruşturma içeren.
Tell me about yourself, Mr. Fiddick.
I'm just a regular guy waiting to get his arm fixed, so I can return to work and to my family.
I was more curious about what you were doing before being hospitalized.
I'm a carpenter, and a good one too.
Şeyi çok merak ediyorum.
But that means I need both arms to feed my family, Dr. Reed.
Vampyr The Masquerade Bloodlines 2. Çok uzun ismi olan. 2020'de çıkacak olan oyunun nasıl bir şey olacağını çok merak ediyorum. Ön sipariş verip alabilmek de isterdim ama daha alamadım bakalım. Kısmet.
I often had professional arguments with rivals on a building site. Difference is I disagreed about wooden nails, not flesh and bones.
Are you satisfied with your treatment here?
Well, it's clear that I've chosen a bad time to be injured. Forgive my bluntness.
Memnun
You
kalmamış.
seem overwhelmed by cases of the flu.
I won't lie to you about it. I'm afraid we are.
Are you sure you don't want to operate yourself, Dr. Reed? I have the feeling
Ameliyata da girsek ya böyle gerçekten ameliyat yapsak. Surgeon Simulator diye bir ameliyat simülasyonu oyunu vardı galiba. Nasıl bir şeydir bilmiyorum ama. Oynamam tabii ki. Öyle bir oyunu. İki tarafta da konuşulacak daha bir sürü şey var bu adamla. Bununla konuşacak bir şeyimiz kalmamıştı herhalde. Bununla var. Oha. İki kişi de burada var. Eyvah eyvah.
Good evening. I'm Dr. Reed. Can I help at all?
No.
Really? Why are you here then?
I don't want to talk. My throat hurts too much.
Boğazına ne olmuş bunun ya? Ha, bunun için, bu adam için galiba biz o şeyi yaptık. Merhem, iksir, neyse iksir değil de ilaç. Önce bizim ablayla konuşmamız lazımdı. Muhtemelen ben ve onunla konuşayım, ondan sonra buraya geleyim. Evet buldum, yaptım, getirdim.
Yes, nurse.
You've worked your first miracle, Doctor. Now, this patient here needs immediate treatment.
Duty calls. When the storm has passed, I'll show you how to mix the remedy yourself with the same basic ingredients.
Many thanks, Doctor. When you've finished, you ought to report to Dr. Swansea in his office. He's been looking for you. Seemed pressing.
Rapor mu vermeliyim? Hastalıklar vatandaşların kan kalitesini düşürür. Onları iyileştirmek için doğru ilaçları kullan. Oha, onları ben iyileştireceğim ve doğru ilaçları da biliyor olmam lazım. Dorothy'nin arkasındaki odada hastayla konuşarak sağlık durumunu öğren. Az önce işte tam onunla konuşuyordum ki. Bu abla oturuyordu ama önce. Dur bir dakika, önce ablayla konuşayım.
Good evening, madam. Can I help you?
It's my son who needs you, sir.
I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed. How can I help your son?
I'm Beatrice Goswick, mother of Mortimer Goswick. Could you check on him, please, Dr. Reed? I've heard much of your talents as a physician.
Abi teşhis mi koyacağım ben? Tam önce çocukla konuşayım. Tamam, öyle yapayım. Daha mantıklı. Doğru, haklı yani.
Good evening, Mr. Goswick. How are you?
I'm okay.
Okey mi? Tamam, o zaman gidelim. İyiymiş. Boğazın ne kadar acıyor? Şu kadar.
Is your throat, Mr. Goswick?
So painful I'd rather not talk at all, Doctor.
Konuşması gerek ama ya.
I'm sure you realize a doctor and his patient have to communicate, sir.
Yazarak versin.
Tamam,
ben de onu diyordum.
I see. Then maybe it's not just your throat that hurts, Mr. Goswick. Perhaps your sore throat is just the consequence of something more hurtful.
Yes, maybe. But I don't want to talk or even write about it.
Belki ısırıldı vampir tarafından. Tamam, bunu soramıyoruz. Yani konuşmuyor. Londra'daki hayatın deyince boğazın ne kadar acıyor? Ne alakası var Londra'daki hayatın? Kişisel sorulara girmez mi o? Bana kendinden bahset.
Tell me about yourself, Mr. Goswick.
I don't want to talk, Doctor.
Ayda. Kan kalitesi çok düşük.
How painful is your...
So painful I'd rather not talk at all, Doctor.
I'll let you get some rest then.
I'm all right.
Konuşamıyorum ki ben bununla, bir faydam dokunamadı yani.
Good evening, Doctor. How is
Ne
my son
yapacağız?
doing?
Senin Londra'daki hayatın.
What can you tell me about yourself?
Not much to say. Just take care.
May I ask if you have an occupation, Mrs. Goswick?
I'm a teacher by profession. I teach young women who are more ambitious about their futures than their families.
Are you really that rich? Most of the patients here are of a more humble origin, if I may say so.
Yes, thanks to my husband. May he rest in peace. I can cover any needed medical expenses.
What do you think of your reception here? Any complaints?
I have had the uttermost reservations about this hospital since we arrived. But we had no other choice, considering the state of emergency.
Is there something in particular that's bothering you?
Some of the staff were not especially welcoming. I suspect they're not accustomed to dealing with patients of such social standing.
Tell me more about your arrival at the Pembroke Hospital. What gave you such a bad first impression?
The ambulance driver was quite rude, for a start.
Ambulans mı burada? Yolda hareket eden bir araç mı vardı? Ben görmedim. Pippa Hawkins. Ne içtiysen ondan istiyorum diyor ya.
And I paid without question, considering the urgency of the situation.
I share your concern, Mrs. Goswick. Be sure that I'll talk to the people involved.
I don't expect compensation, Dr. Reed. But I'm aware such behavior would not be tolerated in other hospitals.
Hepsine ipucu gerekli. Burada da bir şey yok. Pippa ile konuşacağız. Hayda. Pippa nerede? Bu değildi Pippa. Pippa hangisiydi? Öbürüydü, girişteki. Giriş nerede? Allah'ım çok karışık burası. Ya hayır. XP falan kazanmayacağım, istemiyorum. Pipa... Bununla konuşmuş muyuz
I'm
biz?
quite busy right now,
Ha,
Dr. Reed.
tamam. Pipa nerede?
Thank you for your time.
Pipa'nın nerede olduğunu buna sorabilir olsaydık iyiydi.
You always knew the words to calm the children, Helen. As for me, what a bloody...
Çekilin ayak altından ya. Allah Allah. Hemşire girer girmez bizi karşılamıştı şurada bir yerde. Ha bu. Mu.
Dr. Reed, may I help you?
Yok hay Allah. Dorothy bu ya. Bir dakika.
I'll see you later, nurse.
Pipa nerede? Heh buradadır.
Time has lost its effect on me. But the suffering continues.
The daily routine.
Buralardaydı. Abla nerede ya? Allah Allah. Heh.
Good evening, Nurse Hawkins.
Good evening, Dr. Reed.
Buna şey çıkmadı mı ya? Bu konuyla ilgili konuşmayacak mıyız? Milton Hooks. Nerede ki bu Milton Hooks? Hangisiydi bu Milton Hooks? Milton'la mı konuşacağız acaba bu konuyu?
How long?
We're long in...
You're right.
Yani
How would you
It's Sue.
Allah Allah. Kişisel sorularda ipucu yok.
Goodbye, Nurse Hawkins.
Neyse. Bununla konuşalım o zaman.
Dr. Reed, may I help you?
Bunları
Well, Dr.
konuşmamış mıydık
Swansea
ya?
certainly has confidence in your abilities. Are you in charge of the nursing staff?
Not in an official capacity, but the Pembroke doesn't always work above board, so to speak.
What about medical protocols?
Dr. Reed, we don't have the money and resources here at the Pembroke like they do in the West End. We do what we can.
How is the duty roster organized?
Everybody works until they can't. If there's time, they'll eat a meal and shed a silent tear.
For how long have you been working here, Nurse Crane?
I first volunteered at the Pembroke in 1911, a few months after Dr. Swansea was appointed.
And before you arrived here?
If you must know, this was my first job.
What can you tell me?
Everyday folk don't know how bad it is. The papers certainly won't tell them. Not as long as the war is raging on, anyway.
News on the front stated that the Spanish flu was under control, at least in Britain.
It seemed to be for a while, but that was only last summer. It returned with a vengeance just over a month ago.
What can you tell me about our patients here at Pembroke?
This hospital was founded to help the East End poor and needy. But since the war and the quarantine, we've had all manner of folk.
Can you be more specific?
Well, veterans, the elderly, dock workers. We even have a few mental patients. If there's space, we take them.
Bu mu yani? İpuçları her şey kilitli. Görüşürüz o zaman. Ben o çocuğa nasıl yardım edeceğim? 23 metre. Edgar. Hangisi Edgar?
You are going to reveal all your secrets to me. Even the dark.
7 metre, 6 metre. Üst kat. Ha pardon ya. Oo üst kattaymış.
The life running in your veins.
Nerede çıkış?
Dead flesh. Eat it.
Oh, please spare me, Dark Queen.
Edgar'la konuşacağız. Edgar. Yukarıdaymış burada. Evet.
Please, Jonathan, come in.
Elinde de kuru kafa. Olmak ya da
Is
olmamak.
it not? In the last decade, so many mysteries have been brought to light with our microscopes. The human body, biology's penultimate frontier. The more we explore its boundaries, the less we're able to trace a clear line between life and death. You, my friend, have a foot in both countries. The view must be vertiginous.
It's at least as vertiginous as chatting about vampires with you, I would say.
This must be all so new to you. This area of town, the hospital, a brand new life. How stimulating it must be.
I wish I could share your enthusiasm, Dr. Swansea, but my condition defies scientific categorization. Undead? Unalive? Immortality defies logic.
I cannot express my thrill at this serendipitous turn of events. The world's most eminent specialist in blood transfusions, a vampire. One might say a gift from heaven.
I'm a dead man. I was murdered. Now I'm a murderer. Tell me how this is a gift.
Forgive me. I've been an admirer of your work for a long time, and now you are so much more than a brilliant physician. And please, call me Edgar.
There is no need to apologize, Edgar. You offered me sanctuary when I had none.
Very well. I have a task for you, Jonathan. Something that will require all your newfound skills.
Please, go on.
The Pembroke only survives through the generosity of our benefactors. Unfortunately, our main donor has found herself in a bit of a bind. Now, if you could help her out...
Ne gibi bir sıkıntı?
A spokesman or politician is what you need. That's not my calling. And until I come to understand what has happened to me, I require discretion.
Discretion is in order, Jonathan. Lady Ashbury has recently received rather indelicate correspondence that, if revealed, would jeopardize her position.
And you would like me to eradicate this threat?
By the stole, of course not. I would just like you to pay her a visit. Her ladyship is certainly near the tents outside, tending the sick. You can't miss her. Look for someone impossibly delicate.
O aşağıda konuştuğumuz abla mıydı? Ashbury. Ama onun oğlu burada hasta. Bir dakika ya, niye konuşamadık, bitmedi şey.
Do you need something, Jonathan?
I have just a few.
Then ask her.
You mentioned something.
Certainly. I've been a member.
Bunları konuşmuş muyduk?
You don't fear me.
The Brotherhood has studied your kind for centuries.
That explains.
I feel it wasn't me.
Konuşmamış mıydık ya?
Since you seem quite the expert on vampires.
As men of science, our first step is always to start with what we know. Forget the myths, the hackneyed scrawlings in the penny dreadfuls. They do not scratch the surface of the truth you now find yourself in.
Güneş beni öldürür mü? Öldürür.
The morning following my
Süründürür. Ölmekten beter ettirir.
its rays burned me. There was pain, smoke, and my skin blackened.
You will find there is very little that can kill a vampire, my friend.
Yo,
You
az
have
önce
been
2
offered
kere öldüm.
relative immortality. The sun will most certainly hurt you, leaving you weakened and damaged, but it will not destroy you.
Dediğim gibi ölümden beter ediyormuş.
Take a life to live.
You are a vampire. You feed, and blood is the sole sustenance that can sustain your immortal frame. And only a living creature contains the nourishment you require.
Since I'm the one working for you, what should I know about Pembroke Hospital?
Well, for many years, we have been the only medical facility in this part of town that people can rely on. We support the community here, as well as provide health care.
Where do we stand today?
Oh, to be honest, we cope on a day-to-day basis. The first wave of the Spanish flu last summer took us by surprise. We lack many of the basic necessities needed.
What do you expect of me?
What we need is hope. You were a soldier. This is a war. This white coat's still a uniform. We fight to help the poor, the sick of the East End, the forgotten.
The man we pursued and slew in the canning factory, William Bishop, I believe, was he a vampire?
He was a Skald, technically speaking. The debate rages as to their classification. Some think them a subspecies of vampire, others something else.
Biz vampir miyiz, Skald mıyız? Ne farkı var?
The name means slave. The etymology may indicate that they are a lesser species of vampire. From what I know, vampires tend to despise them.
Just for clarity, what differences are there between myself and a Skald?
A Skald is easier to eliminate, Jonathan, even if they remain formidable foes for the unprepared. Vampires... Now, vampires exist beyond the mortal realm.
Ama biz ölüyoruz. Ya vampirleri öldüremezsin diyor ama Skald'ları öldürürsün diyor. Skald'lar bizi öldürüyor. Demek ki biz de Skald'ız. Vampir değiliz. Vampir olsak duramazsın. Ne bu? Morg'la ilgili tamam geçtim. Yeni ipucu öğrenmiş olduk. Masada bir şey yok mu? Yok. Burada uyarı mektubu. Doktor Strickland beni dinlemeyi reddettiğinden böylesi tehlikeli bir deney gerçekleştirmeden onu men etmelisiniz diyor. Strickland'in tehlikeli deneyleri. Uyarı almışlar. Şurada da bir mektup var. Ender vampir türleri. Bu da uzun bir yazıymış. Aşağıya doğru şöyle indireyim. Siz durdurup okursunuz isterseniz. Başka var mı? Yok mu? Şu ne? Tamam, o zaman çıktım. 37 metre aşağıda. Pardon. Şurası ne? Tamam, buraya bakmıştım zaten. 37 metre aşağıya ineyim.